Yeah, we're going to talk some NFL draft here in a second, but I want to do the sort of localized version.
Yeah.
No Blake Watson drafted. Thought that was strange, but there were some landing spots for about 4 guys.
Yeah.
Geoff Cantin-Arku, who was linebacker last year out of Canada, he has a rookie mini camp invite from the Dolphins. It looks like Joe Scates, the wide receiver, transfer from Iowa State. He got a
UDFA
actual undrafted free agent deal with the Jaguars. And then 2 guys landed with the Broncos with Sean Payton, one being Jaylon Allen and then the other being Blake Watson. I was surprised that there was no draft picks.
Yeah.
And the only draft pick I expected was Blake Watson. And I expected that from the 5th round on. I'm just amazed. I'm at a loss for words. I didn't think there'd be, especially after his pro day and the numbers he put up, 4.39 in the 40.
Like a 41
and a half inch vertical, 10.9 broad. Like they all would have been top 5 if he was a running back participating
in the
combine this year. I figured that in itself would show you all you needed to know about the guy because the film speaks for itself.
Yeah, no, I was shocked. And I think a lot of NFL analysts were shocked because obviously you and I are both people that follow very closely along with the draft all the way through. And I'm constantly checking like the big boards and stuff to see the best players available. And there were at least 3 or 4 like legit NFL analysts, not jackleg guys.
I mean, Mel Kiper Jr.
Yeah.
was a big fan.
Yeah. And multiple others that had him basically at the end of the 4th round, early 5th round as the best running back available from that point, and he just was never selected. And so it becomes one of those questions like, is it a size thing? Is it an age thing? Like what exactly goes into it? I'm not sure. But I just can almost guarantee you that Blake Watson, even if it's not with the Broncos, even if they decide to cut him at some point, he will be on an NFL roster this year.
I think he'll make that team. I don't see why he wouldn't.
I don't either.
They have like 7 running backs right now. And I get that's a lot, and you have to beat out a few guys. But usually they carry 3 or 4. And we're talking about Javonte Williams and Samaje Perine, and he's older.
But
Audric Estime.
I'd say they also drafted Audric Estime.
He also runs a 4.8, and he can't catch the ball. With respect to Audric Estime, I think he's a
very weird fit.
I don't get that at all. Like
Javonte
at
Williams
all.
And Audric Estime just are very similar between the tackles runners. It just doesn't.
What's it? Jaleel McLaughlin. He's pretty good. He can catch out the backfield.
Kind of their change of pace.
I think Blake can do more than what people are trying to sort of paint him. They're trying to paint him as this third down pass catcher. I think you do more than that. I really do. And I'm not just saying that because he played in the Memphis Tiger uniform. I think he really has a well-rounded skill set, and he's a good athlete. You know, what it comes down to, let's be honest, he's 24 years old. He played 5 years at college. And what happens inevitably in front offices when they see a 24-year-old has to tread on the tires, they say that's used goods.
Yeah,
as gross as that may sound, that's probably what it came down to for a lot of teams.
Yeah. No, you've got a lot of teams that are looking for fresh guys that don't have much tread. Jonathan Brooks was the first running back drafted, and he's a good example of that. He sat behind Bijan Robinson and Roschon Johnson, and really only had 9 or 10 games, I think, as a starter before he tore his ACL. So you have a lot of that. A lot of teams are looking for, okay, who was the guy that came in, played for a year? Jalen Wright from Tennessee is another really good example of a guy that didn't have much tread at all. Like this year, he was quote unquote the primary back, and I think he had less than 200 touches. So they're looking for guys that it's clear that the potential is there, or even the overall talent, like the production and everything is there, but they weren't running to the ground. And not necessarily that Blake was, because he's not really a guy that absorbs a ton of contact, but we know running backs have a quicker ticking clock than other positions.
But get with me on this, right? It's strange to me that that's like a big discussion for like front offices, because it is. They don't want a lot of tread on the tires. How many damn running backs get to their second contract anyway?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like who gives a damn when you pick the guy? You're going to keep him for 3 years and let him go.
Yeah, that's it.
Because you're not going to pay him money if he's good. We've seen that time and time again.
Yeah.
So I don't get why they have like that preference when they just sort of use and abuse running backs as is.
Yeah, it doesn't really make much sense. But regardless, like I said, I think he 100% makes a roster, even if it's not the Broncos, even if they decide to move on from him. He's going to make a roster. Like, he's good enough to help a team in some form or fashion this year.
What do you think about the other two?
I think Jaylon's one of those guys that come in, can give guys good looks as a practice squad player potentially if he does make some kind of, not, I guess it's not active roster, but the practice squad roster. Like, he's one of those guys that's going to go hard every day regardless. He's a good locker room guy. He works hard.
Yes. That's gonna be his best thing. He will ingratiate himself to teammates and coaching staff because he's a good dude.
For sure. Joe Scates was just weird. Didn't have much production at Iowa State or Memphis. Really only showed that he was good at one thing, and that was running fast in a straight line and getting open downfield. Right. Now, that's one of those things you can't coach. You can't coach speed and getting open, but he didn't show very good ball tracking ability or very good catching ability or really anything that stood out other than being able to run past.
To run a skinny post and beat a cover two. Like, right. That's sort of what it was.
Kind of strange, but who knows? I mean, you never know. If you get into the right hands with the right coaching, things can change. But it was very, very strange to see him get a legit UDFA deal and not like a rookie minicamp invite.
That's the one that I was like, of all the people, and I understand he probably ran like a 4.4, 4.3 at the pro day. Like, I get that. But of all the people that were going to get deals, I didn't think that he'd get like the actual undrafted free agent deal.
Yeah.
Now, money-wise, the one thing that you need to, like, the Broncos made pretty clear about Blake Watson is they do think pretty highly of him as an undrafted free agent.
Yes.
He got $250,000 guaranteed, which is legit, and $25,000 signing bonus. That is like a very high priority free agent.
Yes.
When you get signed with that type of money, that does not guarantee you anything. They cut 5th round picks. You know what I mean? They don't care.
Right.
But that shows you they do actually hold him in high regard. Yeah. I think Joe Scates and Jaylon had a similar deal.
I think it was around 110 for both of those guys with the $10,000 signing bonus. So, hey, man, even if it doesn't work out, that's a good
work. Hey, good work if you can get it.
It's a good little chunk.
And then Jeff, we'll see what happens with Geoff Cantin-Arku.
Yeah, that's those rookie mini camps. Those are long shots.
I've been to them.
I'm about to say you
know what I can guarantee is if he plays well and does well in their rookie mini camp, they'll just tell him he's on their short list. That's all they say. That's all they say, brother. You do well, then I'm probably still on the Saints short list, but
yeah, you're on the short list.
Yeah, and then inevitably they go and sign like 15 vets before they get into camp and hope one sticks.
Yeah, just make sure you're staying in shape.
Exactly. Just put your head down and see what happens, man. But Jeff, he's gonna make plenty of money playing football. He'll be really high pick in the CFL, regardless, because he's from Canada. And I saw him as high as number 1 overall in a CFL draft mock, and I'm like, oh, that's good.
That is wild. Cool.